Man, I look good in that half mirror. What's going on, everyone? It's the Niskel. Welcome back to Resident Evil 2. In the last episode, we explored the underside of the police station and found the ammo room. And got tons of stuff. And speaking of tons of stuff, I actually had to run back to an item box and change out my inventory so I had enough space for those acid rounds. And I'm so glad I got them, because, as I said before, acid rounds, amazing. In fact, we're going to need them for this episode, because we're coming up to the end of the police station section. This game is basically split up into two sections. Police station and not police station. That's pretty much it. Like, I love that this game does that. It has one specific area that you'll start in, and then as soon as you leave there, it's like a whole completely different territory. Makes for a good sense of adventure, like you're actually getting somewhere, instead of staying in one big police station. Or a mansion, of all things. We never left that thing. That was wrong! Okay, anyway, I was supposed to go down the other hallway. I completely forgot. This is the quicker way to go. And I remember there's a green herb here. And blends in with the rest of the plants. We have one more door to open with that club key, and this is the quickest way to do it. And as you'll notice, the only weapon I actually have is the submachine gun. And I've got a healing item. I switched out an item for the crank for some reason. So we should be using those all here soon. And as soon as we get rid of the key, I'll have one more extra itemtory space, which will be very good. Sweet. Now, you've got to be kidding. Oh, I'm so used to Leon having the lighter. I need to go get the lighter. Go figure, I was just at an item box and I completely forgot. Anyway, so second cut of the episode. I now have the lighter, because I need it for the puzzle coming up. You barely need the lighter for anything. 1 for the picture puzzle, 2 for the puzzle in here. And then you barely need it. So at least it has its uses. I don't know why Claire couldn't, like, put it in her back pocket or something like that. Well, she kind of has those non-existent shorts, or the cut-off jeans, I guess. So there might not be much room. Gee, I wonder what we need to get. And here's another instance of the game loving games, like board games, card games. We need to light the candles Queen, King, Jack. But what on earth does that mean? Well, first of all, you need to light this, just cuz, and then you need to light these lanterns in a specific order. So the Queen is the 12 card, the King is 13, and the Jack is always the 11 card when looking at a deck of cards. And boom, puzzle solved, right? Whoa! Plot twist! Mr. X comes busting through the wall! We haven't seen you forever, buddy! Where you been? Haven't seen you since episode 1. Now stay down. I don't think I mentioned it when we first fought Mr. X, but he always gives you the ammunition that the game thinks you need, and it's always the highest amount you can get. So for the handgun bullets, he gave me a 30 pack instead of a 15, because Mr. X is tough, and they want you to replenish the ammo you had to use to defeat him. Basically, the only thing Mr. X is there for is to make you use your healing items, because they refill your ammunition right afterwards. So now that we're done with Mr. X, I need to go use the crank and the cogwheel. Whoa! He wasn't dead! Imagine that! Yeah, not once but twice, Mr. X is back. So, thankfully he is in the small corridor, so you gotta be kidding! Hey! That's not fair! Every other time I play this, you fall right before you hit me. Well, fine. You want to play dirty? I'll play dirty back. I'll use an overpowered weapon on you, which still took a long time to kill you. Now, see there, instead of giving me an 18 quiver, it gave me a 36. So it's the equivalent of picking up 2 of the same type of ammunition. So, Mr. X, you're good for something. I actually wanted to use the bowgun for a while. And now it is time, since we have all the items we need to head back and use the crank and the gear. Those are the main 2 items we have here. We have no more keys to deal with, so that's good. So now we just need to start using the key items. Oh, imagine that. Need to start using the big items on the big quote-unquote puzzle sections. And we actually haven't been to this room yet, where we need to use both of these items anyway. The quickest route is going into the main hallway, up this ladder, and then back to the library. At least that's what I found. Oh, the lickers are here! Is he gone? Okay, he's gone. I think it's just that one licker, but I have seen 2 up here before. So it's kind of weird. And 22%? I don't really want to run out. I love using the submachine gun. Shouldn't have to worry about any more enemies, though, because there aren't any between here and where we need to go. So yeah, if you thought you never had to go through this door up here, yes you do. It has a little bit of importance. And I actually love the camera angles that are up here. So that one right there, that's a good one. And then that one looks so cool. And if the unicorn metal and the zombies were still down there, you would actually see them in that camera angle. It's really cool. So it's not like a pre-rendered angle to where everything below it just disappears. It's a really nice camera angle. The Resident Evil games, back when they did the fixed camera angle style, very, very cool camera angles sometimes. 100% run. Use square crank in square hole. Turn crank. And profit. Cool. That's the only way we had to use the crank. There's like a crank in every Resident Evil game. They like to reuse items, which means it is generic, therefore bad. But no, here's where we need to use the cog. Oh, God! That sounds so terrible. Alright. So, 1 + 1 logic. Use gear with other gears. Press switch. Turn big gears. Activate simple machine, which somehow pushes that door in and opens it. And inside, we get the last item for Claire to move on with the rest of the game, the other half of the bluestone. Finally! So now we technically have the 4 of 1 item. Leon had the 4 plugs. Claire has 3 stones, one of which is broken in half, so that counts as 4. So they still keep it in line for what you have to collect. Nobody skimped out on anything. Let's see, I always think I'm forgetting something around this point in the game. I'll figure it out later. There he is again! Mr. X is back for the 3rd time in a row! It's been like a few minutes since we saw this guy last. So, as soon as he has you, quote-unquote, in his sights, he will not stop. And when you're going through specific points of the game, like I am, he will only appear at those points. So once you get into that last club room and have the lighter, and do that puzzle, you will meet Mr. X the 1 time and the 2nd time. And then up here, after you use the crank, whether you have the gear or not, he will show up there. So, kind of... What am I trying to say here? I want to say it's kind of fixed where he shows up, but it is still kind of jarring just to find him. Oh, look at that, he's there. But now we get to leave him in the dust, because now we get to leave the police station, finally. Little bit of item management before we go there. There's a lot of stuff I need to change around. And we get to take a little, the scenic route, going through the police station again. What I love about Mr. X is just his inclusion in this B scenario. It's really kind of jarring because I don't think a lot of games had done enemies that continuously follow you. Now, it's not like Resident Evil 3 where Mr. X will follow you through doors, and we'll talk about that later when I actually do play Nemesis, because that is actually frightening. Oh, no! Oh, man. All the fun's over. I'm out of submachine gun. Hey, the submachine gun did its job. It took down Mr. X 3 times in a row, and I still had enough to just look at a zombie weird. So, they're showing off the submachine gun. We probably won't be using it again because all the ammo's gone. There will be another chance where we can use it again, but believe it or not, if you don't know how to get it, you're pretty much done with the submachine gun now. But at this point, if you have it, there's another way you can get it. Let's see, we don't need the lighter anymore. I'll go ahead and get the bowgun bolts so we can use the bowgun for a while. Skip on the handgun for now. I'll save that for later. Bam! And more ammo. Let's see. Let's combine everything. I need to get the other stones from inside here. Just doing a little itemtory management. Actually, while we're here, I should probably develop the film since we have it. Let me go ahead and get the stones, make sure I have everything so I don't forget. And where is it? There it is. Okay, so the one film you couldn't see in Scenario A because it had no use there, but this one actually has some use. And there's a reason they show it to you in this scenario. Something that kind of looks like a tyrant. You know, tyrants from the first game and Zero. The biggest enemies in Resident Evil. Tyrant 103. It regenerates health. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? Alright, I went ahead and adjusted my items here, and this is what we're looking at. I thought I needed something else, but I decided against it. Really, we don't need any more weapons to get to where we're going next, but I might stock up on ammunition anyway, because the next big fight we're doing is actually very, very difficult if you don't know what you're doing. Let's see, we need to get up to where the Chief of Police's trophy room was. Let's see, the quickest route would be to go through this small evidence area, and then going through... I'm actually, like, moving my hand around an imaginary map. Let's see, we go through where Will Smith's zombie was, or should have been, go through the main hall, go up the ladder, go through the secretary's room, and then boom, we're there. Go through the wreckage that Claire had to blow a hole in because she couldn't think of any other way to get that door open. I guess she's thinking of her own well-being. I mean, if you saw a bunch of rubble and a helicopter in the way, I would probably blow it up too. I mean, I'm not going to move it myself. And liquors! Oh, okay, no. Well, that's good. At least there was only one this time. I don't know, for some reason, different amounts of enemies show up the longer you're away. I think I explained this about the zombies that come through the windows. It just seems, depending on how long you're playing and away from their initial spawn time and situation, it's really weird how some of them appear and some of them not. Alright, we are here. And I wonder if the chief has actually come back to his office. That would be very frightening if he actually came back. Because the last time we saw him, we read his journal, and he was hunting down his own men.
Claire! Sherry, you're okay. I'm glad to see you're safe, Claire.
As Claire immediately holds her sides in pain. Thanks for your concern, Sherry, and it's good to see you again. How did you get here? This is a legitimate question. How did you find your way out? Because when I was in control of you, there was no way out that I could see, so, I don't know, convenience writing. Put in all 3 stones, very colorful stones, I might add, and we can open up this secret passage. And I have to admit, this part of the game gets very dark. It is not pleasant. And reading this note here, seems someone has a hit out for the other STARS members mentioned from the first game. And it looks like these are notes from William Birkin. Ah. So William Birkin was paying Chief Irons to test out his viruses. Guinea pigs, as it were. Ah, and then an extra letter saying that Chief Irons was sending spies. So nobody can trust anybody. And here we have Chief Irons' secret elevator. Next time on Resident Evil 2, we'll be heading down that elevator, see what Chief Irons is doing. If he is there, I don't know. See you guys then.